So as we get into our video about Damian Wayne, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be focusing on Damian Wayne in the New 52. And the reason why is because if you've seen our video about Jason Todd or Dick Grayson or Tim Drake, we focused on them pre-New 52 because in some form or fashion, their earliest introductions into DC Comics paved the way for incredible changes and these sort of character-based revolutions within the comic book industry as a whole. But Damian Wayne doesn't do that. Instead, Damian Wayne's profound impact on comic books comes in the form of his impact on Batman, and not just Bruce Wayne himself, but in terms of Alfred and how it is that Bruce Wayne and Alfred view the world around them. So in the New 52, DC pretty much keeps the pre-New 52 origins of Damian Wayne the same. What we know is that Damian Wayne is the child of both Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul. Now, one of the big controversies that took place with Damian Wayne's initial introduction into DC Comics was the idea that Bruce Wayne had effectively been drugged, and that when he was drugged, he was basically seduced by Talia al Ghul, and the two of them, of course, had intercourse, and the result was that Damian Wayne came into the world. But for the most part, this is just considered to be the canon part of Damian Wayne's existence. This is simply just how it was. He became part of the DC landscape. Now, following the introduction of Damian Wayne, following him coming into the world, for the most part, he was raised almost single-handedly by Talia al Ghul. And the goal here for Talia al Ghul was to make Damian Wayne this extremely formidable opponent, somebody who could basically be on par with Batman. But more so than that, her drive was to effectively disrupt the endeavors of Batman within the realm of Gotham City. And so what happens is that over the course of Damian Wayne's young life leading into his teenage years, he's taken by Talia al Ghul and trained to be an assassin. And this is done in some of the most harshest of environments in ways that would test even the most durable, I guess maybe the most battle-hardened soldier. And so as things progress with Damian Wayne, we ultimately find that any real semblance of social structure, any real semblance of what it means for him to effectively begin to, I guess, identify with other people or to develop empathy begins to go away. And so effectively, Damian Wayne is simply just raised to be a sociopath, an extremely violent, murderous, and talented sociopath, but a sociopath nonetheless. Now, eventually, the time comes when Damian Wayne is handed over to Batman, and so what we're going to do here is we're actually going to jump to the stories of Batman and Robin from the New 52, because this is where I really think Damian Wayne steps away from just being this kind of sadistic character to becoming more in-depth, and we actually get this really good characterization about him that we really don't see anywhere else. And what I mean by that is Damian Wayne's inability to communicate with other people, his inability to identify, to basically reach other people on a personal level becomes more prevalent here than in anywhere else. And this in truth is established to us in the dialogue of Damian Wayne. When he and Bruce Wayne are conversing with one another, we see Bruce Wayne more human than we ever saw him before when he's standing beside Damian Wayne. Some really good examples are when Bruce Wayne is talking about the death of his parents, when he's actually taking Damian Wayne to the location where his parents were killed in Crime Alley. And Damian Wayne really says this is a waste of time. There's really no point in doing this. There's other things they could be doing instead. Now, some people would probably chalk this up to simply saying he never knew the Waynes as grandparents, but more so than that, in terms of it simply just being family that he never knew, most people would really sort of long to meet those individuals. They would really want to learn more about them to understand where they missed out on this lineage of their, I guess, of their heritage in terms of their family relations. But for Damian Wayne, it's not this way. For Damian Wayne, it's simply just a circumstance whereby they were people he never knew, and because he never knew them, they are irrelevant to him. And Batman picks up on this. In fact, Batman tells him on multiple occasions to show some respect, to show the kind of respect that's necessary here. And this is basically Batman realizing that with Damian Wayne being his son, and Damian Wayne having been raised by Talia al Ghul the way that he was, to be basically a sociopath here, it's his goal to effectively fix this. And in fact, when he's conversing with Alfred, he goes as far as to point this out, to say that whatever it was that Talia al Ghul had done with Damian Wayne effectively broke him, and that Batman's goal is to basically fix Damian Wayne, to which, of course, Alfred replies in saying that Batman's role here is to be a father, not to be a mechanic. And so the argument that Batman's making here is that the idea is hoping that nurture, that his role as a father, his ability to try to reach to Damian Wayne can win out over the nature, the violent, I guess, patterns, the violent mindsets that Talia al Ghul had had instilled in him as a child. And so over the course of Damian Wayne's tenure as Robin, which of course he's basically immediately inducted into this role by virtue of simply just being the son of Batman, he basically takes this very cold-hearted approach when it comes to criminals. As far as Damian Wayne is concerned, it's no issue to kill criminals. It's no issue to pummel criminals. Because again, with the training that he had received on behalf of Talia al Ghul, it's more important to kill your adversary so they can never come back than to give them a chance to fix themselves. And this highlights the inherent difference between Damian Wayne and Batman. Batman believes that regardless of how sadistic criminals are, there has to be some way to try to rehabilitate them, even if it means spending countless years rounding them up and taking them back to Arkham Asylum again. There has to be a way to fix them, and if there isn't, then they should simply just be held away from regular society. But Batman does not believe, under normal circumstances, in killing violent criminals in Gotham City. Damian Wayne would rather just see them killed off and gone. And so again, we see Batman chastising Damian Wayne over this kind of thing. We see Batman chastising Damian Wayne over his willingness to kill other people, over the fact that as far as he's concerned, the lives of criminals don't really matter here. In addition, we actually get some really cool dialogue between Damian Wayne and Alfred. And this is, I think, one of the most important aspects of the stories, or I guess of Damian Wayne's existence in DC Comics. There comes a point over the course of the Batman and Robin series where we see Alfred and Damian Wayne sitting down and playing a game of chess. And this is almost like a scene out of a film of some sort, whereby they're simply just conversing back and forth. And what Alfred is telling Damian Wayne is that chess is not simply just a game whereby you move some pieces around a board and hopefully you win. Chess is a reflection of the lessons of life, and that you have to have your head in multiple places. You have to be thinking in multiple places. You have to be thinking in the future. You have to be thinking in the past. You have to be in your own head focusing on the moment, but you also have to be in your opponent's head anticipating what's coming down the road. And what he's basically trying to do here is to communicate to Damian Wayne that it's not enough to just have a very particular set of skills. It's not enough to basically be an assassin. You have to be someone who can identify with other people, who can reach out to other people, because the strength of others would add to the strength of his own. But Damian Wayne doesn't really want to hear this. Damian Wayne simply just wants to be a character who goes out, fights on behalf of Batman, and then kills criminals in the process. Now, again, without going too deep into the further stories in the New 52, because we're simply going to be going back and I guess talking about Endgame and talking about Court of the Owls and things like that, Damian Wayne will eventually go on to basically adopt his role of Batman, or I'm sorry, of Robin, full bore. He'll basically begin to sort of take this kind of turn whereby he'll step into this role entirely. Well, he'll begin to slowly move away from being this very violent person and begin to become someone that can actually identify with other people, that can actually go as far as to say that he trusts other people. With that being said, I think this is one of our more interesting videos. I think it was enjoyable to actually focus on the character himself, as opposed to simply just say, here's a chronology of when he appeared and some stuff happened. But let me know what you guys think. With that being said, I will catch you guys later. Peace. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. There you can keep up with all the updates from Comics Explained and talk to me directly.